Hello and welcome to another episode of Game Waves. Now last time, in the last episode, I talked about gateway games, which are games for people who don't normally play games. The problem with that is, and I didn't talk about it, is that those games often have the same prices as these games over here. They're almost always $40 or more. So today we're going to talk about a different kind of game for new gamers. Inexpensive game. This line I have over here, all of these games cost under $30. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are for new people, some of them are not. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about all of them and tell you what I think. The Mind is a co-op game about playing cards in the correct order. All players are dealt the same number of cards, each with a single number 1 through 100. Without speaking or communicating, the players must play the cards in order from lowest to highest. Each round adds even more cards to the player's hands, making it harder to get it right. So, do I like this game? Oh yeah, I love The Mind. Hanabi is a co-op game with limited communication. All players are dealt a hand of cards, but they cannot look at their own cards. Players hold the cards backwards so that the other players can see them. On your turn, you will either give a piece of information about another player's cards, or, if the other players have given you enough information, you play a card. The goal is to play the cards so that each suit is stacked from lowest to highest. So, do I like the game? No, I don't like Hanabi. The Crew is the only fully cooperative trick-taking game I've ever seen. In each round, all cards are dealt out to the players. Then, little mini cards, randomly drawn from an identical deck, are given to some or all of the players. The goal is for all players to collect, through trick-taking, the cards matching the mini cards in front of them. If even one assigned card is not retrieved by the assigned player, you gotta start the round over again. So, do I like the game? The Crew is okay. Onirem is a 1 to 2 player game about getting through a dream, but if you're playing this game in any manner other than solo, you're doing it wrong. You will play cards one at a time, always drawing a card to replace the one you played. If you draw a nightmare card, you will have to deal with the consequences. You are trying to open the 8 doors shuffled into the deck. You can open a door by playing 3 cards of the same color consecutively, or by discarding a key if you randomly draw a door. If you run out of cards before you open all the doors, then you lose the game. So, do I like this game? Onirem's okay. Cockroach Poker is the simplest bluffing game ever, and has each player holding a hand of insects. The active player offers a card face down to another player, then claims what kind of card it is. One of 3 things then happens. Either the offered player says the claim is a lie and flips the card, or they say they are telling the truth and flips the card, or doesn't do either, takes the card, looks at it, and then offers it to someone else, claiming once again what is on the card. But when the card flips, whoever is caught being wrong keeps it in front of them as a negative point. A very quick game for those who like social deduction. So, do I like the game? Yeah, I like Cockroach Poker. Blockbuster is a wild movie trivia guessing game. One player on each of 2 teams is given 3 movies. They must get their teammates to guess the titles. They will describe one film using only motions, one film will be described by quoting it, and the third film will be described with a single word. The players will rotate as the active player, and the team with the most correct guesses wins the game. So, do I like Blockbuster? Oh, I love Blockbuster. In Secrets, each player is secretly assigned to one of 3 teams and needs to find out who else is on their team. The active player draws 2 cards and places them face up for all to see. Then, they secretly pick one and offer it to another player. The offered player either takes it and flips it over, or they deny it, and so the offering player has to flip it over and deal with it instead. These cards have powers to alter the game, reveal who is on what team, as well as score points. The team with the most points wins, except the hippies. The hippies want the fewest points. So, do I like the game? Yeah, I like Secrets. Sushi Go is the classic sushi-themed drafting game. Each player is dealt a hand of cards, but will choose to keep only one of those cards. They pass the remaining cards to their neighbor and receive more from their other neighbor. They take one card from that hand and pass it on. Repeat this process until the hand is gone. Score points based on the cards you've drafted, and then repeat this process 2 more times. So, do I like the game? Nope, I don't like Sushi Go. Point Salad is another drafting game, but operates a bit differently. You score points by drafting vegetables and drafting point cards that give you points based off the vegetables you drafted. If you draft a point card, no one else will score points based off that card. It's just for you, baby. So, do I like the game? Oh yeah, I love Point Salad. Ganz Schön Clever, also known as That's Pretty Clever, and Doppelt so Clever, also known as Twice as Clever, are roll and write games that play similarly, with Twice as Clever being more complicated. Each round you roll dice 3 times. After the first roll, pick one of the colored dice and score the matching colored area with the number on the die. Then move all the dice that show a lower number onto the plate. You can no longer roll those dice this round. Pick up the remaining dice, roll, and repeat until you've done this 3 times. After 6 rounds, you add up your scores of all the areas, and that's your final score. So, do I like these games? Oh yeah, for roll and writes, these games are pretty good. For Sale is a quick game that has 2 phases. In the first phase, you are betting coins to win cards. The higher the card, the greater its worth. After all cards have been wagered off, you go to the second phase. You are now trying to claim cards with a cash value. The higher the better. Each player will play one of those cards you paid for in the last phase. After all cash cards have been wagered off, you add up the cash, and whoever has the most is the winner. So, do I like For Sale? Meh, it's okay. Red 7 is a weird tableau building game where the goal is to be winning by the end of your turn. If you aren't in first place at your turn's end, you lose the game. Each player will have a hand of cards, and on their turn they will either play a card that has a winning condition, such as have the highest card or have the most different colors. This will overwrite the previous winning condition. Or they play a card into their tableau that makes them winning the round based on the current condition. Play several times and track how many games each player wins. So, do I like this game? It's weird, but it's okay. Zen Master is a trick-taking game about gaining and losing matches. For each trick, there is a point card that shows how many black matches the highest played card will receive and the amount of white matches the lowest played card will receive. One important note, you don't want matches. Both colors are negative points. However, anytime you have both colors, you discard them in pairs. The idea is to have an even balance. So, do I like the game? Oh yes, it's a pretty interesting game. Coloretto is a push-your-luck game about collecting cards of certain colors. On your turn, you do one of 2 things. You either draw a card and add it to one of the stacks of cards, or duck out of the round and collect all of the cards in one of the stacks. At the end of the game, you want as many cards as you can collect of 3 colors, no more. Your 4th color and beyond will be giving you negative points. So, do I like this game? Oh yeah, I love Coloretto. It is one of my favorite games of all time. In Kariba, you are playing numbered cards in a circle, replicating a watering hole. You can play any amount of cards from your hand that you want, but they all must be the same number. If you create a pile of 3 or more cards, you gather the nearest next lowest collection of cards. Of course, you've just made the number you played more enticing to grab. 1s, which are hilariously mice, chase away 8s, the elephants. Whoever collects the most cards wins. So, do I like this game? Meh, it's okay, just a little too simple. Set is easy to play, but hard to explain. 12 cards are placed face up onto the table. The images on all cards have 4 characteristics: the shape, the amount of the shape, the color of the shape, and the shading of the shape. Simultaneously, all players hunt for a set among them. A set is always 3 cards, with each of the 4 characteristics being individually all the same or all different. For example, the shape is all the same, the color is all the same, but the shading and number of shapes are all different. You yell out set, collect the cards, refill the row, and keep going. Whoever collects the most sets wins. So, do I like this game? Despite being colorblind, I freaking love Set. Illusion is by far the easiest game on this list. You begin by flipping over an arrow. The color of the arrow is the only color that will matter for the round. From the top of a weird-looking deck, you will place a card in front of it. The first player will take the next card and decide if it has less yellow or more. If more, place it to the right. If less, place it to the left. The next player then either agrees they are in the right order and does the same with the next card, or says something is wrong and flips over all of the cards. If the percentages are in the right order, the other player gains the arrow as a point. If there was an error at all, the questioner gets the point. First to 3 wins. So, do I like the game? Once again, despite being colorblind, it's okay. It's just so simple. Patchwork is a polyomino game about quilting. On your turn, you will look at the pawn within the circle of Tetris pieces. You may pay for one of the 3 next pieces using buttons, the game's currency, and place it on your board. You will move a certain number of spaces based on the piece you bought. Whoever is in last place after that is the next to take a turn, even if it's the same player. Try and earn buttons and fill up your board the best. So, do I like the game? Actually, I don't really like many 2-player games, but I really do like Patchwork. Arboretum is a tableau building game about trees. You will draw, play, and discard 1 card every round. You try to play your cards down so that matching trees create lines that are in numerical order. Best thing about this game is that you can draw cards from your opponent's discard pile, making discarding a huge part of the game. So, do I like the game? No, I hate Arboretum. Guns and Steel is a resource managing and hand building card game. All cards rotate between being played and being returned to your hand. Through these mechanisms, you will buy cards on the bottom of a pyramid, opening new cards for players to purchase. I think you're scoring points or something, but it doesn't matter because I hate this game. Want to buy it from me? -5 out of 10. No Thanks is a card and coin game where you want coins and no cards. A round begins by flipping over the top card, which will be between 3 and 35. You will either take the card, which is worth negative points, or give up a coin, which is positive points. When someone finally takes the card, they keep all of the coins that have been placed on it. Though cards are worth their value in negative points, there is a catch. If you collect cards that are numerically adjacent, then you only count the lowest one of the set. So, do I like the game? Yeah, I really do like No Thanks. Felicity, the Cat in the Sack, is another game about coins and cards. Each round, all players will place 1 card face down into the pool. 1 card will be revealed, and all players will either bid for all the cards or bow out and collect a few coins. When someone bows out, another card is revealed. Some cards will be negative points or have special abilities. The last player paying coins collects them all and scores points. You go through 9 rounds, and whoever has the most points is the winner. So, do I like the game? Actually, I like it quite a bit. I kind of just rediscovered it, and it's become one of my favorites.